Hey guys, welcome to this video. Great to be on with you. Fantastic. I'm just going to let everyone come in. I'm going to let things kick off. I'm about a minute early. It's fantastic to see you all. As I go through the stream, you'll see my banner. Okay, and I've changed it slightly, and it says how you get on board with myself and start being a profitable trader, trading like me on a daily basis across various assets. So I'm Will Sebastian, if you don't know me. I'm a multi-asset day trader and I own the Be Profitable Trading Academy. Hope you're all well. If you want to chuck anything in the chat box at any time, guys, just put it in there. This is the live chat box. If you're in my Discord, there's tons of people in there. Now, just go to the stream queue section and just type your question in there if you want. You can put it in either place, doesn't really matter too much. I know some guys prefer to do that, so it's an option if you want to. I'm going to kick things off in just a second and get everything going. We've got lots to cover. I've just come back from holiday, as many of you know. I more or less, I'm just going to check the stream's okay for a start, just so we're on the right page. I've got my OBS thing up here. Right, okay, so I think we're all good and we're okay. So it's an option. If you've got any technical problems at any time, let me know and I'll sort those out as well. So yeah, got a question just asked. I'm going to give another minute for everyone to come in. I've made various calls and it looks like the market's moving that way, which is really good. Pound New Zealand down, EURUSD, Euro New Zealand, everything we looked at is getting smoked. Okay, you can see that. AUD and New Zealand are struggling a bit, but I think you just have to wait with those. There's a lot of early resistance. Swiss yen smoked as well. So tons to go over, tons to talk about, and lots to do. Oil as well is coming right down, which is fantastic. So made a lot of great calls. I'm going to run over all charts. If you want to look at anything at any time, just let me know. This is my take on the market at the moment. In 9 minutes, you've got GBP news. I know lots of you are new to seeing me. I think my gold editor's pick I did is on about 35,700 views and almost 1,000 likes. So I think a lot of people did really well with that because I said not to long it here, okay, at 1903. Of course, it fell into 1887, so it saved a lot of people a lot of money, quite sure, and I've been updating it since. Like I said here, I'm waiting for the news to dictate where we want to go next with that. So let's start off on the S&P E-mini futures. Like I said, if you've got any questions, guys, put them in the chat box so I can answer them. Or put them in the Discord, it's up to you. Either one. And also, as well, if you can smash that boost button right now, that'd be fantastic. If you can press that boost button, it brings me up the ranks. People come onto their computers in the morning, wherever they are in the world, and they say, wow, perhaps this guy just knows what he's doing. He's got a lot of likes. And I do get a lot of people say thanks for my analysis and things like that, which is great as well. So do smash that boost button, that'd be really handy. Okay, so let's kick things off. I'm going to start on the S&P mini futures. You have got S&P. I've got my news section on my right-hand screen at the moment. By the way, the stream, I can read the questions on the left, so that's why I keep looking to the left if you're wondering what I'm doing. I've literally, as I said before, just come back from France. I went to Lille, Versailles, through Paris, Rouen. Did a whole tour and had a great time. Ate some croissants and drank some coffee. I'm back in England now. Had a fairly long journey back, so I'm quite tired, but nonetheless, I'm here. So lots of guys coming in. You've got UK news in 7 minutes, US news later this afternoon. So for your S&P, as many of you will know, I called it short up here. Market got slammed. You had a tiny bounce along here. The reason why you had that is because if you put your higher time frames up, you can see you're bouncing on your 20 MA, which is a reasonable tick bias to have. And you also get near enough to this price action level, but you don't quite hit it, okay? So you didn't quite touch on that. The market stopped earlier, right, about 350, okay? So minor price action's been hit. I don't think for that reason it's going to cause an enormous ricket. Hitchcogs, I don't know if I've seen you here before. I think I might have, but thanks for pressing the boost. I can see you in the chat. Do ask a question in return. You've paid your way. Do ask me something. But anyhow, I'm looking to cover the overall long-term trajectory on this. I think you'll probably, given the market sentiment or the way the market mood is, I think you'll probably get a pull off from here. And like I said, I want to trade pullbacks within the overall long-term move. So if you see the market start to come down like this, your job is to short when it pops up. You're not supposed to be shorting when it pops down, because inherently you've got a bad price. That is not a good place to short, clearly. I mean, you've seen the price get long there, so why would you sell? Doesn't make sense. Hopefully you didn't sell. Told you to short all the way up here, told you to short here, told you to short there, and you're on the way. But I would only short up here. Like I said, where I've drawn this squiggly line, you have got price action to fall in line with that overall market trajectory. I did a big post on the S&P saying how you might see it slide a lot more. You are just going down, you can draw a very basic trend line to identify that. Don't be one of those guys who needs the trend line to be hit immaculately. It's not how things work every single time. So if it goes up here above that trend line and you think, wow, that's this, that, and the other, just don't do it. It's a short. Okay? Don't buy after the market has come up, right? You're too late. So my bias remains short on the S&P. Now, long term, I think perhaps you might see, and there's tons of hype going on. Matt Box, I can see also your message. I'll go on to GN in a minute because I called that short. I'm still short myself on it, as are many of my members. What was I going to say? Okay, so the current green candle you've got forming on this weekly, you're on Wednesday now. At least I think you're on Wednesday. Yeah, that's right. Lose track of the days when you're traveling. Anyhow, this candle, not enormously strong, but the reason why I think longer term you'll pull back further is because you've just come up for such a long while. Now you're seeing loads of things in the news and media about how the US stock market is going to turn right over and get slumped. I did a big post on it, and it's a really good lesson to go over, whether you're new or not to trading. Now, the reason why is simple. If you look at how I've got this 12 monthly chart up, right? You can see that in the space of 2019 to, let's say, well, where we are now, 2023, so you've got 14 years. Now, in 14 years, the price of this has gone up from 680 to 4,800 points. It's enormous. It's massive. Now, the only pullback you've had in that time, a significant pullback, I mean, you did have this candle wick, but you can see you've got instant rejection. The only sustained yearly downwards pointing candle didn't even make it to 38% of the way. Okay? It got about 30% of a retracement. So you have to wonder if every single market you see everywhere retraces more than 38% or 30%, normally, if you pull up practically anything, at some point it will have retraced that far. It begs the question, why haven't you got down here yet? Now, that's just from a plain technical basis. There are various different assumptions people make from a fundamental basis as to why the stock market will drop. But technically, if you're taking the technical approach, normally you can't really argue with it too much. It's factual to say that at some point, there's a good chance it'll get absolutely smoked. But whether that's this year, next year, or in 100 years, nobody knows. But the point I'm making here is, how can you go up for such a long period of time with only 30% of a pullback and 1 year of down move? Okay, where you had your last year of down move, you didn't really get a lot. You went from just under 3K to 2.3. Okay, it's not a lot. So, I mean, I think a lot of people are missing this out when they're saying about why the stock market dropped, why this will happen, that will happen. A lot of my analysis would take a fundamental basis in the background, and then to actually apply it to entries and exits, I take a technical one. That is how I teach people to trade, along with risk management methods. Now, the reason why that is important, because it's simple. And I'll get onto that in a minute. Actually, I won't go on a tangent on what I'm saying because it's quite important. But basically, the point is, I think you'll go further. And I wouldn't really like to short this unless you can pull back, because if you short now, it's very early, given that you could easily have a retracement. Now, remember what I said about how far markets retrace. The lower fib levels, okay, don't worry about hitting a line and bouncing away. The lower fib levels are telling you more or less that you have only retraced 23.6%. You have only retraced 38.2%. It's just to gauge how far the market has pulled back. Now, often the market will pull significantly. Okay, UK news is just out now at 9:30. Just to mention, lots of it coming out in the red. I can see it on my screen now on FX Street. There's various different readings. You've got your S&P Global CIPS composite. Just quickly check out our pounds or anything like that. I'm still holding my longs on the FTSE. I'm well in gains on this. I called it long on an analysis on a video I did from my hotel room. If you're still in it, lock in gains. I'm holding a bit further, nearer to 7,400. Pete, I can see your suggestion, thanks for that, as well as Hitchcock, I can see yours too. I will go over that in a second. Pound New Zealand, whack down, whack. I've called it short so many times, it's getting wasted, right? I'm short on this, I'm still holding short. Markets are now picking up, markets are now moving. Pound order, I'm still short, I'm well in gains now, which is great. So if all of this is falling, I would lock in gains. I've got tons of posts on it. I've got like 60,000 views this month. So I have to find it. There you go. So you went in 215. You can see I called it in this area, 215, and you're now at 213. So you've had a massive fall. Congratulations if you followed that. In fact, I probably should just update it. Oh. So bear with me. If you're following me, you'll know I have a very high hit rate, I'm sure. Let me just get on to the questions. We've got so much to cover today. I'm just figuring out where I should start. But yeah, negative market news for the pound. My FTSE longs, I'm getting more and more in gains, so I may have to just go off and sort that out. You can see with this, that candle is very green. You've now got positive market sentiment coming in elsewhere, from lower borrowing costs and things like that. So I expect the FTSE to rally more, and I'm getting more and more in gains as we go. To what I was saying, where were we? We're on the S&P. Secondly, how markets normally retrace further than 23.6. Everyone knows that, 38.2. It happens eventually, okay? It might happen constantly every single time. Eventually, that's normally what happens because people liquidate their positions enough and flip their bias to bring themselves way back up. So, in other words, I like it short up here. You've got price action levels. You're going to come nearer this MA. It's likely your 100 MA will just move slightly. And I've looked to scale into the short side. By the way, if you're just coming in, there's tons of people coming in. Please do smash that boost button. Let's get up to 40 or 50 likes. Press it now if you can, please. And do ask me a question. Some lovely guys in here have asked me a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to go over it just now. Remember as well, if you're serious about trading and you want my mentoring, you want to learn from me, the banner says it, just go to that link, get started. I can get you set up straight away. I can answer anything you want any time of the day, practically. That's what I do with my members, and I post private trade setups and everything like that as well. So thanks for pressing the boost. S&P E-mini futures, overall I'm looking short nearer term if you can get a reasonable pull up. You can also see that if you pull up round here is previous price action, so that should help slightly as well. There's tons and tons of people coming in, so put your questions in the chat box or on the Discord. If you're sat there and you want to look at a market, don't sit in silence, right? Ask me, because the only way I can answer it, exactly what you want to know, is by you asking. Doesn't matter what the question is or anything like that. Doesn't matter what chart, just ask it. Okay, so I'm going to move on to what everyone said. I'm going to start off with Matt Box. I've seen Matt Box a few times. Great to see you, Matt Box. you can see, and plenty of people who follow me know I called it short. I've updated the post many times. Longer term, I think you'll pull down here. Okay, I'm just locking in gains as it falls. I've set a trailing stop or an in the money stop loss. In other words, if the market pulls back up, it kills, I'm in gains. I'm well in gains on various pound pairs now. I've been pending this short for like, well, a long time, more or less. I've scaled in short as it's gone up. Nearer the mid stage of August is when I started doing this. So yeah, I think you'll drag lower. Whether it will come all at once, I don't know. I think it might take some time, but I think it's likely you'll get back down here. That is more in reality. If you just look at your higher time frames, i.e. your weekly, you can get an idea of the longer term price action market. You can see with these recent candles, there's nothing in the way. There is no spike, there is no flip side candle, red one, or anything like that. You're extremely far off your MAs. Okay, so that's why I'm swing trading it. I'm looking for a larger gain. Anyone who's in my academy, by the way, if you're in drawdown, you can use this as a chance to exit those DCA gains. Now remember, when you take DCA gains, that is banked money. If you got a trade wrong, you can close out a previous trade using the banked money. Therefore, you have not lost money. Okay? Remember that. If you take more than one trade, as we do in my academy, via DCA methods, you can use that money you've locked in to exit trades that went wrong. That's why we don't use a stop loss. Now, number two, if you take hedge gains, flip to the long side, you can use those gains to exit previous losses as well. Therefore, you haven't lost money. You do not have to use a stop loss to be profitable, okay? I don't use stop losses on anything, practically anything, unless it's really, really dangerous and there's a massive, some sort of crisis economically, like a financial crisis or COVID or something like that, then I may, right? But just remember, if you're using previously taken gains to exit trades you got wrong, that does not make you a bad trader, okay? It makes you a good trader because you're not losing money overall. And that's what trading's about. Some trades you'll get wrong, some you'll get right. Overall, if your profits exceed your losses, then what's the problem? But nonetheless, I can't see significant PA to the flip side to cause a bounce until you get over here. So that's my bias. I think you're going to fall further. You can lock in gains as it comes down, and that's how I'll deal with it. So Matt Box has kindly asked a question there. Perhaps he pressed the like as well, but he's asked me something. Thank you for that. As I said, I'll be managing this trade. I called it short so many times. Loads of you will know that who follow me. I've got tons of new guys. My gold editor's pick I did. I think it's still on the home page. Let's have a look. Where are we? There's also various things I've called on here as well, which you can have a look at. Recently, pound yen has also fallen. It was this post. We're almost at 1,000 likes. I think 35,000 of 36, 7,000 people have seen this. So there's tons of new guys on here. Probably got about 1,000 people who are new following me. Nasdaq, please. Absolutely. Sorry, Damar Plastics. I didn't see that, but I know you've been here before, so I'll give you a hand with that. Tesla, I'm just going to talk about first. I've been asked kindly. Thanks for that. So Tesla, I mean, when I talk about stocks specifically, normally I have to gauge the underlying sentiment. Lots of you who know me will know I trade London stocks. I have done that since I was like 20 years old. I'm now 24. So, yeah, I mean, I don't particularly study the underlying performance of Tesla. From a price action perspective, however, that doesn't look particularly strong to me. I wouldn't say, I wouldn't short it, basically. I don't really like shorting stocks, especially if they're big companies like this. I definitely wouldn't short that. If it does fall, you may have a reasonable value nearer $200 as suggested. I would probably look at your monthly for this, though. So what you can see on your monthly, if you look at how this candle wick stretches down there, okay, what's happening is you're getting a rebound within all of this. So this is where traders have taken their money in and out. That is why you get a new bounce. Now, on the longer term, you might find perhaps you get back up to here. Okay, so I mean, anything lower where you've previously had price rejection, price action is clearly a place where people were previously buying. Hence why I say perhaps it would be okay to long. I don't trade Tesla myself, but like I said, if I was, I would look at the fundamental aspects. If anyone's got the earnings, feel free to just chuck them in. I'm sure they're on here somewhere as well, or you can just look it up. If you peel down here, you could consider getting a light holding into this. That's perhaps what I would do. But I trade London stocks mainly, and they're things that have gone for a longer time. I mean, Tesla has been around for a while, don't get me wrong, but it's only grown in value. Remember, it's only grown in value from $15 or however much, all the way to 400 down to 230, right? It's not far in that period of time. Now, remember what I was saying about the S&P, okay? What does that look like? Does that really look stable to you? Okay, you would have to be a fundamental trader believing in Tesla's long-term goal and ambition to trade it. Because look how sporadic it is. Or look how hypey it is. Okay? Be one of those guys who has to get mad about hype. Right? People who do that aren't looking at the long-term vision. Okay? There's nothing, I'm not saying it will happen, but there's nothing stopping this from happening. What if there's 10 more Teslas created? What if there's 20 more companies who do what Tesla does? What about that? What happened to BT, for example? I know that because I'm in the UK. But if you look at BT, and you go from, let's go on the monthly, it's a bit easier. So BT, for example, oh, I hate it when it stays clicked on the pens. BT. So what happens with BT? And again, if you don't trade BT, don't worry. This is for your knowledge, regardless of the stock you're trading or any asset. BT comes up 2009 all the way to 2015. 6 years of up move. Now, what happens in 2015? Well, you start to get competitors. At 2015, the share price had gone up from 68p to 5 quid, right, or however much now. Before that, it was 15. Okay, so you've come all that way down, right? Now, what is happening here? Everyone believed in BT. Everyone, British Telecom, the standard for British telecommunications strategy, basically all kind of things that revolve around radio waves. Okay, they established it. Lots of people's phones were under them. They were the status quo. Suddenly, the competition comes in. Okay, so nobody could foresee the competition, and what it does is it drops the share price like 90%. Then it comes up. Okay, you get this rally. Financial crisis is ending. You come up 2015, but then what happens again? Suddenly you've got Now TV, Virgin. All these companies have come in and destroyed it. Now it struggles to survive. Look at the share price. Look at that from up here. So I'm saying that what if you have, I mean, I'm sure many people have different opinions. Oh, they've added a little Elon Musk with a, well, I'll let you figure out what he's holding. It's illegal in England, but legal in many places. I won't give my political views on here. But the point is, guys, what if there's another 10, 20, 30 Tesla companies that all start doing electric cars? What happens? So, I would like a longer price data, is what I'm saying. 10 years of candles, 20 years of candles might help. But you're only getting this spike when COVID happens. Before that, no one cared about electric cars, right? So you've gone from this to that in 3 years. It's very sharp, and it doesn't give you a long-term price data. I'm not saying it won't continue going up. I'm not saying that at all. So don't get that impression. I'm just saying you're running the risk of these three outcomes. Okay? Something like that. Who knows? It's all dependent on earnings, which is why I said if I'm trading a stock, I'll have to know about that earnings-wise. Now, someone's asked about the Swiss yen. I've pulled the Swiss yen various times. It is a trade that you really need my strategy for. hence why I put the banner on. Remember, you can go to that link now, get started right now, and I can get you set up with all the bonuses of today. You can ask me whatever you want, and you can trade like myself on a daily basis. I was trading when I went to France, just on holiday. It's very helpful to know what you're doing. So let's just drop your time frames down, because we're looking more recently. It's far more powerful to do that because you've had such a long uptrend for so long. You've come down, okay? If you took it short for DCA, I would kill it. Okay, you're out. If you're holding for longer term gains, again, like I was saying in your S&P and various other assets, you're so far. Pound New Zealand, for example, you're so far off these MAs. I would expect you've got, well, if you go on your monthly specifically, it's probably the best one to look at. Your 20 moving average is at 144 and the price is at 164, 165. Okay, so I'm just scaling in short. My drawdown is not scaring me. I'm well in control. Like I said, if you've taken DCA gains and closed out previous losses, that does not leave you in a loss. A lot of the time, it will leave you in gains. That's why I use DCA. But you have to do it properly. There's various flaws of DCA that only come about if you don't know how to do it correctly. Okay, so it's all well and good brushing the term DCA this, DCA that. If you don't know what you're doing, it's not going to help. Okay, so I should think you've got a pending fall. Now, my reason for it, again, if you look at your 12 monthly, okay, how far does it need to go before it falls? Right, look what happened last time. I know it was a long time ago. I know it was 1979. It doesn't matter. It could be 1879. It could be 1079, just after the Battle of Hastings, 1066. When I was on holiday in France, I saw various medieval things, medieval buildings. That's why I'm going off on that analogy. But what is crucial is that your nearest moving average in this instance, when you've got your 20 and your 40, is literally just so far away. Look at that. Wow. 34%. You haven't come back to it at all. This will get wasted at some point. Look what happened here. How far did it come down here? Okay, the market always is going to come back to those key MAs, more or less 99% of the time. It has to. This is unsustainable for the Japanese. Okay, it can't keep going on. Right? If you know anything about economics, when you've got a strong currency, it's cheaper to import goods. Okay, when you've got a weak currency, it's better to export. Okay, and vice versa. Japan exports loads of goods. It's a small place, but they make lots of cars and things like that, and probably microchips. I mean, you can Google it; it will tell you. That's why the currency is so weak. Financially, Japan's in quite a good spot, more or less compared to the rest of the world. But anyway, regardless of anything like that, it doesn't even matter enormously as long as you understand that that is an excruciatingly high price. The Swiss franc is a strong currency. Okay, look. Okay, and it's probably because the Swiss import a lot, but it's a strong economy anyway. Switzerland is very expensive to live there. I'm sure there might be some Swiss people in here. I like to go to Geneva. I've been to Geneva loads of times. It's a lovely place. Really enjoy it there. And if you're from Switzerland, let me know. We can meet up. No, I'm joking. You probably don't know me, but my point is, I'm holding short on it. I've got various shorts. I think the nearest spot you'll get a bounce is probably going to be at the most local price action level. You can see where that wood candle stops, and you can see where this candle wick forms. Okay, 152 is ideal for me. But overall bias, this was probably trade of the decade. When it gets wasted like this, ultimately, is when everyone will be raving about it. Look, that happens in a year. I mean, like I said, I know it's rare, but it happens eventually. You come so far off the moving averages. At this point on your monthly, you hadn't hit the moving average, 20 MA, from 117 all the way to 158, okay? So it's an extremely long way. With this, you haven't hit it 1110 to 165. It's even further. Okay, but on your monthly, that's just ridiculous. Up, 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 up. So, like I said, I think you'll come back. And you can see it on the monthly better where that support lies. And the reason why I'm saying where that support lies is because that's the only place where you can visibly see any bumps in the road. Hence, it's got to be where people are trading. It's got to be where that reaction is in the market. Again, within my academy, if you want hit rate like mine and what you can see live, we're going over various traditional called. It's all about price action. Price action rules the market because it's the only way you can visibly see and agree with me what is going on. You cannot dispute price action. That is price rejection. People have pulled their money out there. There is no if, but, or maybe. There's nothing you can say. It is factual, right? So when you've got something that's factual and concrete, it stops you worrying. Is it going to do this? Is it going to do that? Does this mean this? Does this mean that? When I look at the news, does it mean this, that, and the other? Okay, and I'm trying to dissect it like an expert economist. A lot of people are honorary economists, right? You know, all you need to know is the natural debt cycle. There's a great video on it by Ray Dalio on YouTube, and the flow of money around the world. If you can figure that out, you know, it's not particularly hard to understand. You don't need that economics degree. Market prices, they're economically based all the time because economies form the platform for all those assets. But you don't have to be a genius or an economist to know that. It's not difficult at the end of the day. It really isn't. So price action is something more concrete that you can go over. That will always help you. And we've been on for a while now. I'm just going to have a look, just over half an hour. So I'm just going to do a quick things to say. If you're coming in, I'm Will Sebastian. I'm a pro multi-asset day trader. If you want to ask a question, I'm going to go over these next ones I've just had. Please do press that boost button. I know lots of you have pressed it. I haven't refreshed it, which is why it still says 1. If you can smash it now, press that boost button now and ask me something in here. I'd love to go over your questions. There is tons of people in. Okay, loads of people are on here, probably more than ever. Pete, I haven't gone over dollar yen, so just hold it. I've done your Swiss yen, very keen today. Will said will probably do. But if you can press the boost, guys, and if you are a serious trader, if you're someone who actually wants to get it right and isn't interested in signals and all that crap that doesn't work, by the way, signals don't work, believe it or not, otherwise we'll all be rich. The link to learn from myself and my academy, like tons of other people around the world, is right in the middle. https://bit.ly/trade WOTT. That will bring you to this page and it will talk about everything you get. And here there's a money back guarantee as well. So you can ask me anything. I make personal trading plans based on your commitments and things like that. So let me just put, where was it? I think I've lost it. Where are we? Right, I'm just going to put this back. Thanks for pressing the boost and welcome to everyone who's now coming in. I've done that at half an hour because I'll probably do an hour. I'm just going to go over dollar yen, then I'm going to do gold, and then I'm going to move on to the next questions. Remember, if you've got a question about anything, it could be about trading in general. It doesn't specifically need to be a look over on any certain chart. Just ask it, okay? I've got my coffee here. You have to excuse me for sipping it. If I talk for too long, I start to get dry down throat. Dollar yen, I'm shortening gains. What is happening with your dollar yen is you're not getting a forceful push down, and this very local early support, again, you can't disprove that. We know that support is causing an issue. But I think you'll get lower. I think you'll come down to this support here, and I think you'll coincide with these MAs. Remember, rejection levels you've seen previously, support and resistance, won't always be hit through first time. And I've got a great lesson on that on AUD and New Zealand, which I will cover also. It's amazing, there's tons of people in here, which is great, probably more than I've ever had. I'm normally the top streamer and the top live streamer on TradingView most of the time when I do a stream that day, which is great. So thanks for all the love, and do, if you want to, like I said, if you want to get things serious and you want to get things right, just go to the link. I wouldn't be able to sit here and yab on for an hour if I didn't know what I was talking about, I guess. I mean, you can summarise what you want, but do with it what you will. Today, a lot of markets are moving, which is a good time to be clear on what you're doing. So dollar yen, in brief terms, I think you'll get down here. It's too late to short. I wouldn't short at this point. I'm just going to hold for swing gains. There's nothing forcing it down yet. You do have your S&P Global Manufacturing PMI for August, preliminary results, and Global Composite as well. So that might move things slightly. If you do go higher on your dollar yen, okay, you may reattack this point here. But mainly, anything up here is a really short for me. I would do it lightly because you've hit that point several times. Just in brief terms, someone's just asked me what platform do I use? I use MT4. It's old school, it's great, that's how I do things. You can integrate your trading with TradingView, obviously. I do a lot of analysis on TradingView, but then I take the trades on MT4. I'm just used to MT4, I've used it for 8 years. That is what I like to do. So dollar yen is done for Pete. DARF4, there's a lot of premium guys in here. If you're an Academy member as well, send me a DM on Discord and I can answer your question in full with all my trade methods on there. I'm not going to publish them publicly for free because you've paid, more or less. So gold, loads of people are interested in what you've got on gold. Like I said, my editor's pick, 30-odd thousand something have viewed it. I said, don't buy that, it's going to come under. Did. I'm not seeing anything immediately forceful on gold, and I think this is going to cause an initial minor issue. Although I wouldn't be shocked if you pull up higher. But if you do pull up higher, I mean, there's two spots you can go for this. Probably for the mass market on TradingView, I would say it's better to short where I've just drawn that red line. Now remember what I was saying about fibs. If I draw one, the retracement is just past 23.6. It's hardly anywhere. So that is a short zone, but it's not a sell your house. It's not this, I mean, no trade should be a sell your house short zone, but I would like it short near a 1936, right? So you can scale in there, but you would need a push up. If you get that on local news, that might be all right. If you're very much more risk averse, this level is far better. Most of the time it's because it's higher up that fib. The higher you go, normally higher the chances that you're going to fall, or at least if you do fall, you've got a higher profit margin because you've gone further up and you're therefore further from support. So if you get full down and you're further from support, there's clearly a larger amount of gains to be made there. So you could have entry 1, 1936, entry 2, 1972, but you would need volume to get you up. Something would have to happen. And like someone said, you've got the Jackson Hole Fed speak. That's correct. Everyone's focusing on that, and it's likely to be prolific, I hope. The more volatility there is, the more opportunity there is, mostly. Okay, so what we're going to do, someone's asked for NASDAQ. I did a great post on NASDAQ before it fell. NASDAQ is pulling up nicely. Am I entirely convinced it will fall from here? There's a good chance, but what I really would prefer is if it can come up here. So where I've just drawn this line, that would be ideal. So let's say 15 to 70 area is where I would like to scale in short again. It's just because you haven't reached those low MAs. And like I said, price always comes back to those MAs. Okay? So I would say, and if you look at your 4 hour, you've got your 200 MA, sorry, 100 MA and your 200 MA here. And look at all of this. This is great for price rejection. All right, so that is where I would like to reshort, ideally, if you can come up. The fall you saw on NASDAQ didn't take you enormously far. Okay, so you can take early impetus from that. You can take early, more or less direction from it. I think the rally may continue. I wouldn't buy it. You're too late to buy it anyway. I just wouldn't buy it. I think longer term you'll come down on the NASDAQ as well. You've got to remember, if companies have all, if interest rates have gone up around the world to squeeze people, to stop them spending, what do you think is going to happen to the earnings when they're released? It's a good chance a lot of companies have made less money than they thought they would, and that's going to cause a problem. So that's why also from an economic perspective or fundamentally, even without price action, that people are suggesting that may happen. And I wouldn't be surprised if it does. I mean, you had that on stock markets like the FTSE. It came up so far because you had all these oil companies putting their results out saying how much money they'd made because oil had gone up and energy and everything like that. So company results obviously dictate an index because the index is made up of the companies. And when you've got the biggest companies making the most money, it pulls it up and the largest and vice versa. If they're not making as much money, it demonstrates a slowdown, which in some ways is good for people, but not so good for growth. And economies need growth to grow, obviously. So your NASDAQ, mainly what I'm suggesting and what I would like is more or less around here. This is a kill zone for me. I really like it short. Again, it's going to feed into that overall market trajectory to the downside. Like this. You can see how much the market has come down. You can draw your trend line wherever you want, by the way. Okay. Normally, well, it moves. It depends what time frame you're looking at. If you look at your weekly, it's much easier to do. Okay, because you can just take this high and draw it like that if you want. Okay, it depends on the time frame you're using, but that is basically displaying the fact it could go like this, right? Like that. Okay, so depends on the time frame. Normally, you just join up your highs, right? At least two of them. I mean, that is in my course as well. I've actually got an indicator that does it for you that I've built. But anyhow, I really like it technically up here. You'll probably pull back within reach of your key moving averages up here, your 20 and your 40, which is really good to demonstrate an overall newfound strong trend because they're short-term moving averages. Obviously, the shorter term they are, the stronger the trend will be, okay, because you're getting slammed down. So if you come back up there, that'd be very ideal. 15 to 60 area. So that's your NASDAQ, done your gold. As someone said, Hitchcock, as I said, has spoke about the Jackson Hole. He's absolutely right. You know, you can read what the Jackson Hole is. It's just a meeting talking about economic things in that jurisdiction. For the US mainly, it's going to create the story. You've got the symposium tomorrow on Thursday. Okay, and we can look ahead to Friday as well. There's several news events there. I'm just trying to move my calendar so it shows me late in the day. Really ideal if that was the case. 23rd of August to Saturday, let's say. I'm just trying to get the exact time. So Fed speech 15:05, absolutely, I would say so. And then you've got symposium 3 o'clock on Friday. You've also got President Lagarde speaking 12. Now, there's a couple of things I want to go over as well. I've almost got 1,000 likes on that gold post. Thanks if you're liking it and liking my streams and commenting. It really does help me. I do appreciate that. I use TradingView as a platform to teach people. They often reciprocate, so that's really good. Thank you for that. Euro New Zealand, you can see it's getting piled down your daily, coming to this near MA, coming to early support. That was a good trade we took. I'm still in it. And I'll probably look to lock in gains as it bleeds down. EURUSD, similarly, same thing. I'm still short on it, but you're coming to early support. Okay, so I'll probably flip my bias. Pound New Zealand is the same, but I like it much further. Pound AUD, I'm also holding shorts on. So I think you'll melt down on those pairs, and I'll kill for gains across the board and flip my bias. Now, what I really like, what I really want to talk about is this. So I did a post long, I'm still long on AUD and New Zealand. If you look at what you've seen in the last few days or this week, push up, okay, what happened was it hit into this. Now, the reason why it bounced away is because there wasn't enough strength in the market to pull it past this initial early resistance. This happens a lot, okay? It doesn't always mean particularly it's not going to keep going up. So it's good to drop your size slightly. And I did that on my FTSE as well because you had a similar situation where the market pulled up from a low and it started to hit these levels. So I reduced my size, I took some profits, re-entered. That's where we are now. But just going back to the AUD dollar, we'll use the New Zealand dollar as well, you can see we're just going sideways, and it's because there isn't that push to get you straight through that first level. Doesn't mean it won't happen, and that's why I'm holding out for longer term gains. It just means it might take slightly longer. I mean, if you look on your weekly, you've still got a long term bias to the long side because you've fallen for 5 or 6 weeks almost. Okay? And you're just coming down to previous long zones. So just remember that you will sometimes have this happen, and it's just because you've got really early resistance. Look where I've drawn this curve under here, and then look where that is. It's no surprise the price stops there. That's not a coincidence. Okay, it's because, again, like I was saying earlier in the stream, you cannot argue with price action. Right, so price action, because I'm doing it properly, as I teach my members in my academy, and as you can learn yourself, will help you sort of get a better indication of where the market's likely to turn. That's how I've got an 85% plus hit rate, on some accounts 90% or more. It's just because I'm using price action and what I can visibly see, because it's not a debatable subject what you can see. We can all see the sun in the sky. If you say the sun isn't there, I'll just say, look up there, that big glowing ball in the sky. That's the sun. You can't say it's not the sun. Because it is. I mean, you could say it's not. You could say it's not the sun in the same way I see it, but we can both agree there's a big shining light in the sky. Okay, same thing. That is price rejection here. That is price rejection. If we're coming back to the level, it's probable to say that you might see it again, or it's a very feasible argument. Gold, I said short. You're coming down. I'd shorted it earlier, so I'm going to exit those shorts and flip long. Just here, okay, where I get to with some early support. So that is where that's where I like it more or less. And it comes along in line with your key MAs at a higher value. Okay, so if you swapped your weekly, it's the 20 and the 40 there. And if you stick on your daily, it is the 40 MA and coming nearer the 200 MA. So a really good zone for longs for myself. I'll kill off shorts and I'll flip to the long side. If you had longer term growth in oil, it wouldn't shock me either. And if you get lower down here, then I would further scale in, I would say. Okay, so more or less 77.3 I'm probably going to kill. You can see, much like you had with gold as well, you're just tumbling through these levels. That is a strong red candle. Again, price action, you cannot argue that is a strong pull down. So my bias remains to let it run and flip along lower in about $2 time. Has anyone got any questions about oil? Because I know lots of people trade oil. Any questions about anything? There's still tons of people in here, which is fantastic. Thank you everyone who's pressed that boost button. I really appreciate it. It's absolutely brilliant. Really good stuff. Loads of people have viewed this already and haven't even ended the stream. Okay, so it's likely you will be top viewed. Do press the boost. If you haven't pressed it already, slam the boost button. Ask me something. Put it in the chat box, right? Pop it there. If you want my free training, it's underneath. If you're serious about trading, the link is on the screen. Okay. Free training will get you through far. Everything else will help you a lot more. So tons of people are in here. Tons of people have seen this. Please do ask me something. I don't want to sit here and get bored. Okay, we're covering a lot. Markets are pulling down exactly as I said they would many times. Just go on my profile and have a look. It's all there. Right? Called it. That's what happens when you look at markets for 10 years. Right? So yeah. Swiss yen, dollar yen we've done. Pound yen is now pulling down. What I said about that being short. Yes, that's right. Damar Plastics could feed into demand if there's less supply. Right, so yeah, good point. Pound yen, much like your pounds, I said, are pulling down. You're coming to fairly weak support, but if you took it short, I would exit for gains. So yeah, you can do that. Just remember that that is exactly how I'll be. Well, I mean, if you look at the post I did, I'm just sorting something out on the other side. If you look, my post I did, along here, I spoke about the longer term short market like this. Okay, so that's on there, you can go and watch it. But you are pulling down now, which is great. I should think pound yen had come up a lot more, but you're basically just hitting on early support, okay? Right here. And I think you'll come through lower because it's not really strong support. And like your Swiss yen, go on your monthly, I mean, you've come really far away. So I wouldn't be surprised if you drop lower. Look at your KMAs. And there's tons of people in here still. Absolutely tons of people. It's great. Press the like, ask me something. There's loads of people in here who aren't asking me anything. Ask, okay? Please don't be shy. Right? Put it in there. There's some good questions coming in. Push the like, ask me a question. Right? I would like nothing more than that at this point. Popper. Right, sure. I can do that for you, Demar Plastics. Mr. Demar, or whatever your name is. Do let me know if you want. I don't like calling people by their usernames. It was really weird. But yeah, okay, so copper, you've come up for various days. It looks to me like you've got a somewhat sideways market. As many of you know if you follow me, these are reasonably easy to trade because the lower side dictates a lower price within that natural move. Coming up to KMA, so I like it short now. Ultimately, I think you'll probably get up here. So just be aware of that. If you're going to short it now, you don't want to do it majorly. Okay, you probably want to just get short at that point. But if you're more advanced, I like it short now. Okay, and you can see you're getting early price rejection. Mark, short. I know many marks. I teach various marks as well. So, sure. There you go. Yeah, okay. Normally I call people by their first names once they're in my academy, to be honest. So if I do call you by your username, it's probably because I don't know you very well. But yeah. Okay, so still tons of people in here. Absolutely loads. I'm looking at the questions box. It's not so full. If you're sitting and you're after crypto, it's got slammed very recently. Okay, it's a HVA. I think there's a good. I mean, I don't particularly like trading it for that reason. I don't really trade crypto a lot. I liquidated my holdings a while ago. Got a reasonable price for them. I mean, I was paid in crypto, so it didn't really affect me. I think you'll get a bounce. There's good reason for that. It's a HVA. I wouldn't go nuts. You know, like I said with Tesla, how long has the price been valid? You know, it's not an awful long time, and you just have to be a believer in it. Right? There's nothing stopping it going lower, so don't be one of those guys who thinks that can't happen. Anthony M.W. Kuita, network, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking. If you can repeat that, would be good. It would really help because I'm not sure what you're talking about. But Bitcoin, crypto, I don't really care for that much. And like I said, I'm in further gains on the FTSE as well. I'm probably going to kill at earlier resistance near a 74. I've got various longs on that I'm holding for gains, like my FX pairs. And I'll have to get off and get on in a minute with my Academy members. Like I said, if you're a paid Academy member, you're taking trading seriously, you're an action taker, ask me messages on DM because I can help you whenever. I'm at my desk teaching myself. Also, I may offer a bonus as well. I think I'll offer a bonus if you get on board my academy today with the link on the screen where it says serious about trading. You'll get the bonus in there. I should think I'll probably give away something if you get on board today. So it's up to you if you do that. If you're serious and you want to make it work, go ahead. If you're someone who just wants signals, you'll never make money trading. That is just, you have to learn what works. It's just how things go. Pound dollar, I did a long video post on. Let's have a look. I'm going to update all these posts, but it's this one. This is really handy. I do a lot of videos like this. It describes exactly where I like it long. You've got lots of reasonable support down here, and I wouldn't be surprised if you can fall down there. I should think you'll probably get a significant bounce. Okay, over here. Right, again, coming to those key MAs, coming to your 40 MA, you're not even there yet. You swapped your daily, you can see the picture a little bit more visibly. right? Coming nearer your 200 MA, it's perfect kill zone. They really like it long. If you can get wasted down there past these previous week PA levels with this rushing in red candle, remember we're using early price action. We understand what markets look like and why, all right? Because we've learned and we've taken action, as I said. But really, it's kill zone down here. I really like the pound dollar long at 124. I do really like that. Okay, it's just a beautiful mixture of tech levels. So I like it long, and I'll look long at that point. That's why it pays to take the time to learn, right? Because if you buy now, you're buying with risk. Okay. So 55 minutes. We're almost on for an hour. I like to do a good session to get everyone up to speed with what I'm talking about. Mainly, I'm holding Euro New Zealand, Pound New Zealand, FTSE long. I'm in various trades. I'll probably do a private members update as well. If you're a paid member, I'll put that in. May even do a free webinar for anyone who gets on today. They can do whatever, they can ask me whatever they want, maybe on Friday. So if you get on board today, on Friday, I'll do a free webinar specifically for paid members, and we can get you all up to speed, debunking what's wrong, getting you used to what's right, and going from there. Euro dollar has come down a lot more than your pound dollar. I think you'll probably get a bounce at this point. You might be okay to get lightly long. I wouldn't go mad over it, but you could start to scale in there to the long side. Weekly, if you just drop, I do really like that for a tech long. There's a good chance you get to 1074. So you could perhaps call 1074 area your long zone. Okay, that might be ideal. You can see that would go in line with what you've seen very recently, which is this tick up in movement like this. So again, markets move naturally in natural market movement. Academy member Mark, great session, thanks. Mark is a paid member. Thanks for letting me know, Mark. I can see you DMing me. Just ask me whatever you want, right? Whatever you want, whatever you need to know, just ask me, because it's likely you're in the same trades I am. Okay, so just ask me anything. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm yet to be asked something I don't know the answer to, or I can't give an idea on, right? So, like I said, ask whatever. The main thing I would say at this moment, someone's just asking about $ZAR, I think. If you say the exact ticker you want or exactly what you're asking, I can help a bit better. I think in the near term you'll get a bounce. I don't specifically like trading it, and I don't normally trade it from a tech bias. I think you'll get a bounce at that point. I would trade it very lightly if you're going to, just to cover that. But going on, like I was saying, you've got the Jackson Hole Symposium coming up. Lots of eyes are on that. For the FTSE, I'm holding long. The more exotic pound, Euro New Zealand, etc. They're falling and falling. I'm holding for swing gains. I think you'll get further on these. I think they've got a fair way to go over time, but I'll probably lock in gains and exit earlier trades. So as I said many times, okay, if you're on this stream and you're serious about trading, in other words, you're sitting there and you're dedicating your time to it, it will not work unless you have a method. I spent a ridiculous amount of time trying to do that, and it's great to believe it will happen, but it just won't unless you have the tools. It's just as simple as that, because trading is so much based on risk management and trade management from a logical perspective. And if you're making up how to trade, it doesn't work. I do these streams because I can give you a good idea from my point of view where the market will go direction-wise, but that doesn't mean that we're going to exit and enter at the same time. Where we enter and exit will be dependent on my rules, which I'm not putting on here because obviously people pay me for it. So you will be in a trade when I'm out of the trade. The market may come up to where your stop is, I'm in profit, and you close out for a loss. Trading is all about trade management in the now. It's about proactively managing your positions. That is what makes it work. And if you can't do that, you can't proactively manage your trading based on what is happening around the world or where the markets are moving now, it's going to get really hard. So as I said, in the middle of the screen, serious about trading, HTTPS bit.ly/TRADEWOTT. There is limited spaces at the current price. It's likely I'll put the price up and you'll have to pay more. It's an enormous video library. You get my help privately. You can ask me whatever you want and we'll go over it pretty much whenever you want. And as I said, as a bonus, I'll chuck in a webinar this week for anyone who's new, anyone who's enthusiastic about learning and wants to get things right. You'll be invited to that on Friday. But that's only if you, let's say you get on board within, let's say 2 hours or so, you will be credited with that. So please do smash the boost button. Press it right now, guys. If you've enjoyed it, it's helped, press it. Don't forget to follow me on TradingView. There's tons of views on this. Tons of people have seen it. Go and watch my videos. They'll help you a lot. They're free. Go onto my YouTube, join the Discord. There's loads of stuff you can do to help yourself today. The most important thing you can do is get things right with my full academy and the exact tools for the job. You can beat around the bush for as long as you want, but if you don't get what works, you are wasting your time. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for pressing the boost. Smash it. Let me know how you feel. Anything you want to suggest, put it in the chat box. I'll come back and have a look. But hopefully I'll see you in the Discord and on my YouTube and thereon after. And we can get things right for you. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope that really helped. Of course, I'll see you again soon. See you soon.